Hello kids, it is study time with Mem Kids Edu. Today we'll be learning something very interesting. We'll be learning about the things found in the kitchen. Things found in the kitchen. A kitchen is a place where we prepare our meals before we eat them. So we have a number of things found in the kitchen. And one of them you would find there is the microwave. The microwave is used for heating up foods before we can eat them. The microwave. And next you can find in the kitchen is the oven. The oven is used for baking. The oven is used for baking things like cookies, baking things like cakes, as well as bread. The oven. The next you can find in the kitchen is the electric blender. You use the electric blender to grind or blend things like vegetables or fruits into purees. The electric blender. The next you can also find in the kitchen is the refrigerator. The refrigerator is needed to keep your food cool to prevent them from going bad. Refrigerator. The next you can find in the kitchen is the stove. In using the stove, you have to light it up, put your pot on top to cook your food. After the stove, we also have something else you can find in the kitchen, the baking mixer. The baking mixer is used for mixing flour and other ingredients needed for baking. Baking mixer. What else can you find in the kitchen? A chopping board. A chopping board can be a wooden platform or a wooden surface where you can chop your vegetables or fruits before cooking them. A chopping board. The next you can find in the kitchen is a knife. A knife has a sharp metal part for chopping food items on a chopping board. Stay away from knives. The next you can find in the kitchen is a rolling pin. A rolling pin is used for spreading your dough before baking. Rolling pin. The next you can find in the kitchen is a grater. A grater is used for shredding or grating food items like carrots or cheese for preparing your meals. Grater. The next you can find in the kitchen is a can opener. You use a can opener to open tins or cans of food items like sweet corn or green peas for cooking. Can opener. The next you can find in the kitchen is a whisk. You use a whisk for beating your eggs or whisking your eggs for frying or for baking. The next you can find in the kitchen is a colander. A colander has perforations where you can drain out water after washing your fruits or your vegetables. The next you can also find in the kitchen is a frying pan. A frying pan is a shallow container that you use in frying things like your vegetables, your fish, or your meat. Next you can find in the kitchen is the kettle. The kettle can be used for boiling water. The kettle. Next you can also find in the kitchen is a dish rack. After washing your dishes, place them on a dish rack to drain out water and also to dry. Dish rack. And next is tongs. You can use your tongs for turning your fish or your meat on a grill pan. Tongs. What else can you find in the kitchen? You can find a toaster. A toaster is used for toasting bread for eating. A toaster. So what else can you also find in the kitchen? You can also find a spatula. You use your spatula for flipping your pancakes on a frying pan when making pancakes. Spatula. What else can you find in the kitchen? You can find a ladle. You can use a ladle, a type of spoon, for turning your soups or for even serving your soup into your soup bowl. What else can you find in the kitchen? You can find a measuring cup. You use a measuring cup for measuring liquids like milk for baking. What else can you find in the kitchen? You can find an oven glove. An oven glove is used when baking to prevent your hands from getting burnt when operating with the oven. The next you can find is a jug. Your jug can be used to store milk or to take juice. What can you also find in the kitchen? A kitchen apron. You wear an apron to prevent things from just like oil, from splashing on your clothing when cooking. You can also find cutleries in the kitchen. Your fork, your spoon, and your knife. Cutlery. What else can you find in the kitchen? A mug. You use your mug to take tea. So you can find a mug in the kitchen. What else can you find in the kitchen? You can also find a plate. Your meals are served on a plate before eating. A plate. What else do you think you can also find in the kitchen? You can find a soup bowl. Your soups are served in bowls, so you can find a soup bowl in the kitchen. So what else can we also find in the kitchen? A pot. Your meals are prepared using pots. A pot. What else can we also find in the kitchen? We can also find a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker is a sealed pot that uses steam to cook meals very quickly. And the last but not the least that you can find in the kitchen is a baking pan. It is used for baking cookies, breads, and any other baked item. A baking pan. So we've learned a lot about the things found in the kitchen. I hope this class was interesting and you were able to pick one or two things from it. So I would say thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Goodbye.